Okay, so I'm finally making this video that I was supposed to make for a while. Let's talk about the 72nd spirit, Andromalius. This is what his symbol looks like. He is an ancient deity in a Canaanite, Philistine, around that area. And he specializes in returning stolen goods. He hates thieves. He hates wrongdoers. And he also uncovers hidden enemies. What I have is 2 automatic writing sessions. Just really simple. I wrote out some questions and then he answered them. So the first automatic writing session looks like this. Can't really make out what's on this paper, but I can give you a pretty good idea of what the questions were and what the answers are from the visions that I've received from memory. So this is the first writing session, and what I've asked him to show me, I've asked him to tell me exactly what he is and what he represents. What is the symbolism of the man wrestling with the snake? What does that symbolize? And then he showed me a vision. He showed me a vision that's just out of the Bible, of his people were massacred, they were enslaved by, I shouldn't say them, because if I do, this video will get deleted by YouTube. I'm going to say it anyway. His people were enslaved by the Jews, or the people that call themselves the chosen. And I can make a whole presentation on this, the whole idea of the Goetia and the Clip-Off as being a false flag operation, a huge false flag operation, because when you look at these specific deities and archetypes and spirits there, you notice a common pattern. And these beings are very vilified, extremely vilified by a certain group of people out there. And the reason they are vilified is because throughout history, when the people that worship them, these deities and archetypes protected their people, and they would not let the self-chosen of fuckway have their way with them. They would not let these Jews get their way with enslaving them, with raping them and extorting them and putting them into slavery. And if somehow they ended up succeeding in subduing these various pagan tribes, well, they did not go down without a hell of a fucking fight. Andromalius, Adramelech, Baal, these various cults, they put up a hell of a fight when it came to the people of Yahweh, the Yahwehtian death cult coming down to enslave them. They put up a hell of a fight. They wouldn't let these self-chosenites just have their way. They put up a hell of a fucking fight. And Andromalius showed me that they resisted and they resisted, but they were eventually outnumbered. And it was just like the Bible. All that shit about killing them and enslave them, you keep their daughters and wives for yourselves, and even the fucking verse about putting an owl through an ear to mark somebody as your slave forever. That's all true. That all fucking happened. These pagan holocausts did happen. This is all very real. And then another question asked him what exactly the symbolism of the snake there. Basically, there is a 13th constellation that has been occulted, that has been clouded from astrology, and I feel this lines right up with Andromalius completely. The constellation of Ophiuchus, or the serpent bearer. It's literally a man wrestling with a snake with two hands, but it's a little bit different. In Andromalius' manifestation, he appears as an old man, one hand wrestling the snake, and it's constantly wiggling and running around and trying to bite him. It gets close, but he yanks it off at the last minute. You think, oh, it's going to get him, but no, he never, ever lets the snake touch him. Whereas the constellation of Ophiuchus, it's just a dude with a snake. Doesn't appear to be like wrestling it or aggressing it. It's just a man holding the snake with both hands. So I've found that very, very interesting. The next thing that he told me, or rather he showed me, is that the snake that he is wrestling is Yahweh, is the demiurge itself. The forces of stagnation, death, communism, and slavery, the very currents and energies that seek to strangle the spirit of man to death. Strangle all of man to death, completely obliterate any possibility of freedom or independence or evolution. It's really the really bad ass backwards wrong forces that just want to fucking enslave, microchip everything and just rape it and kill it and eat it and shit it out and do it all over again. Like really, really bad fucking stuff. That's what Andromalius is wrestling with. And then Andromalius told me that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So the fact that he's wrestling, he's got this big, huge snake, and he's one-handing the snake, and it keeps almost fucking getting him, but he never quite lets the snake get to him, is exactly an allegory for what America is, or what we are right now. That we're constantly battling, we're keeping out the forces of communism, we're keeping out... we have to constantly be wary of conspiracies and wary of people and certain groups and conspiracies that want to enslave us or do wrong to us, that want to steal from us. Because the only natural law of sin is theft, rape, murder, killing, torture. Those are all forms of theft. Lying is a form of theft. It's not just grabbing in someone's pocket or holding someone at a knife or gunpoint, give me your fucking wallet. There's other ways you can rob from somebody than that. There's other ways you can do wrong. And as long as Andromalius can hold this Yahweh, this lion-faced snake, this demiurge off, we have a fighting chance. We are able to breathe, But this war... It has to come to an end, at some point when we finally crush that Yahweh, crush that demiurge, and overcome the forces of evil and pathology. But at the same time, too, whenever you have any capacity for good or freedom or any light, every light casts a shadow. It's a part of a greater contrarium. Which is a really good Michael Desarian presentation. You definitely want to go check that out, the Contrarium. And Andromalius told me, you can always be free as long as you watch your back. You have to be vigilant. That's the eternal price for freedom. It will never really go away. And he told me that pathology and the forces of involution and negativity will never really be gone. It will never really go away. It can never really fully be banished from the universe or from the mind or from the consciousness. It can never fully be banished. But it can always be held at bay, and it can always almost attack you, but you can always wrestle it. You can always keep it at bay, is what he tried to tell me. onto the second automatic writing. This is what it looks like. And I could actually read. So, I've asked him if he was worshipped by any other cultures or under any other names. He didn't really answer that. But I said like he was like behind the Robin Hood legends. I asked him if he could only return stolen material energy or stolen psychic and spiritual energy. And he said loudly, I punish all wicked deeds, all doers, all wicked deeds. I punish all wrongs. I right all wrongs. Then I asked him about the low vibratory astral parasites, the fucking jellyfishes. According to Rain Ahava, Belial has a name for him. He calls them the Masters of Sludge. Andromalius calls them the Masters of Weakness. And that's a pretty good spell breaker, you know. You really look at what it is. It's the Masters of Weakness, bullshit energy, the Masters of fucking bullshit energy, the Masters of Weakness, the Masters of small dick energy. Any of those names like work for them. And he told me to get rid of them and you basically steel yourself against them. You make yourself uninhabitable for corruption itself through courage, through right action. Basically, he was telling me stuff that sounded very similar to what Mark Passio talks about, you know, morality, be right or go wrong, right is might. And then when you live by that and you act like that, you're literally become like a sun, like you raising your vibratory frequency, and by living in that solar world, by emerging out of the lunar world and living heroically, you really become uninhabitable. And these things, they can't fuck with you. They really can't fuck with you because they hate that kind of energy. They're attracted to wounds. They're attracted to weakness. They're attracted to people there who are not living the authentic life, who are susceptible to corruption, and then they sink their shit in and start the infection. Now this gets really dark here because I've asked about, with the lockdown bullshit and the whole Divok AI, the needlecraft bullshit and everything, and I asked about what Rudolf Steiner had prophesized about, you know, man being vaccinated against his own soul, needlecrafted against his own soul, you know, being manipulated in a way where there's no spirituality, there's no magic, there's no religion whatsoever, and just all of man are just a bunch of robots. And I asked him, are we living in those times? And he said, yes, big, huge letters, yes. And then lastly, I asked him about the Canadian truckers. You know, are they doing the right thing to end the tyranny? And he says, in this way, he says that they are at a great start. They are at a great start, but it's not enough at the moment. It is a good start, but it's not enough at the moment. You need to starve the system to death through non-compliance. I can't read this. You need to starve the system to death. Basically what he was saying, that like it would work if this truckers came to America, if this was happening all in Europe, if this is happening all over the world, basically we have to starve the system to death, like strike and just like not go to work, not go to the fucking corporate NPC jobs and just refuse to follow unethical orders or do unethical jobs. And just starve the beast, essentially. Starve the system to death, let it wither and die. Now this is a while ago. This was, I can't remember. So I've asked these questions like way back in winter. I think it was like maybe January or February. It was winter 2022. Now it's May Day. So this is quite a while. I've watched the truckers on and off. I haven't been like completely following the truckers, but I heard there was convoys in America. There, and if that really grows, and if it grows in Europe too, then it's a really good thing. I mean, these fuckers have already lifted the muzzle mandates in certain states where you can actually go to a job or you can go to a store, without your fucking gag on you. And there's a lot of other places too where they were gonna roll out the needlecraft. They were gonna roll that shit out real hard, but then they weren't able to fucking do it. They had to drop this shit. So very interesting times that we're living in for sure. But those are a few words from the wise and eternal Andromalius. He hates wicked doers. He hates criminals, and not like criminals like in like going against man's law, but like he hates natural law criminals. That's what I'm trying to say. Like murderers, thieves, rapists, he hates those. And he does what he can to expose those people. So if you're hanging around with like shady people that you think are your friends, and I can testify to this, I'm not going to reveal right now, but if you're hanging around shady people, that you think that you're friends with, and they're conspiring against you, he's going to reveal that. And, everything that I thought, a certain individual that I thought was my brother and I thought were friends forever, he showed his true colors to me, and like we're not friends anymore. So Andromalius will do stuff like that. And if you've ever been stolen from, he will return the money. Now, I've been introduced to the spirit through Uncle Bearheart, and the full ritual, the video will be in the description. It was a year-long evocation. I did have a little bit of experience before. I did that ritual back in like 2014 and 2015. But I've never really been out in the real world yet. I've never really been out in the real world and had like any shady dealings or like have anything, I really haven't had a whole lot of life experience. But he got me a scooter, which is like exact identical to one that like I had, that I got for Christmas as a young child. And then he got me a nice watch. He didn't get me a Rolex or anything like really crazy expensive, but he got me like a nice like $40 or $50 watch that if I really wanted to, there's $50 right there. So he is a cool spirit. He's very, very interesting. And if you're around people that hate you and want to bring you down or like conspiring against you, he will reveal those fuckers. Like they'll fuck it up and you'll know about it, or he'll just bring it to your attention through life. And if you've ever been like stolen from or like robbed any significant amount, like cash aren't gonna like fall out of the sky. That's not how magic works, but you might like stumble across a ring, you might, come across a piece of jewelry or something on the sidewalk, or, I know this is really crazy. I'm not really supposed to talk about, like, part of the job that I work, some of the things that we do, like, we have these huge discounts on, like, fucking things, and we'll sell them for charity. Like we'll sell like full priced like merchandise and like items that they're about to reach their expiration date and they were gonna be like thrown out. But they're like marked way the fuck down to like next to nothing. Like I'm talking like $15, $20 desserts and they're like marked down to like fucking nothing. They're marked down to like $1 or $2. A $20 cake's like $5. Like these huge fucking discounts. You know, and we've been doing it before. We've been doing it like over the summer and like everything. But I tell you what, ever since I started working with the spirit again, I started talking to Andromalius again. Like the charity stuff is like going through the fucking roof. Like we got. I'm not even gonna say what the fuck we're selling. I'm not even gonna say what the fuck we have there. But like we got all kinds of crazy shit that's like crazy expensive if you were to buy it full price, and it's like marked down to like nothing. It's a thing we do for like the other employees at our job site. And Andromalius is a kick-ass spirit. You don't need a 9-foot circle. You don't need a fucking black magic triangle of Yahweh, of sigil torture bullshit. You don't need all that archangel bullshit. There, all you need is just this symbol. I usually use a red candle. I'm not gonna show it. He likes stouts and he likes steak. He likes porters and he likes steak, but for some reason you can't get a porter. You can't get a porter. You can get him a Guinness, and you can just cook a steak, barely cook it medium rare, just like warm it up. You know, just enough to like burn the outside of the steak, but the inside is still like raw looking. He likes it like that. And what I do is I get a little offering bowl. I paint the sigil, you know, usually with a gold marker inside of it, and I place the offering inside of the bowl, which is biodegradable, you know, a paper bowl, and then you pour the Guinness over the offering on top of the offering and just let it soak up there, and then just leave it in the forest, you know, just let nature consume it. Anyway, he's a kick-ass spirit. Go talk to him. You will not regret it.